Mountain bike tyres on gravel bikes. It's all the rage right now, but is it the future or a fad? Well, to find out, for the last few months, I've been riding my own Enve Mog with these Michelin Jet XC2 race tyres to find out. And today I'm out in the Cotswolds, found some pristine gravel to do some time testing with these tyres and the Power gravel tyre, a more typical gravel tyre, to see whether my future setup is mountain bike tyres or gravel tyres. Before I do some testing, I have to admit, even though I'm open-minded to new technology and new ideas as always, I was a bit skeptical about the idea of mountain bike tyres on a gravel bike. Partly because as a mountain biker and somebody owning a very nice mountain bike, a Specialized Epic 8 with mountain bike tyres, that's fantastic for mountain biking. And this concept seemed a step too far. And I've been very happy with gravel tyres, from 40s to 45s and more recently 50s on this bike and other bikes I've been testing for the last few years here at Just Ride Bikes. But all that said, I've been really impressed and surprised at just how good they are. I thought the tyres would be slow, sluggish, heavy, but that hasn't really been the case. There are some negatives, some downsides I'll share later in the video, but definitely more sunny uplands, especially when riding what I call tame mountain bike trails. Chunky trails with rocks and roots where the mountain bike tyre definitely gives more confidence and just more control than a gravel tyre. But there are some obvious downsides. The Mog officially takes a 50mm wide tyre, but these tyres measure 56 on these rims, and clearance, well, there's not much. Look how tight that is around the fork. That is wafer thin clearance indeed. It's lucky a trail to drive because a bit of mud would jam these tyres up, and it's even worse at the back as well. Look how tight that is, and around the chainstay, yeah, it's just that. It's not clearance. Right now it's dry. I mean, look how dusty that is. It's fine, but come the winter, when in the UK you need mud clearance, these tyres would not work at all. So that is an issue. I'm testing 3 tyres today, 2 Power gravel tyres and 1 mountain bike tyre. The mountain bike tyre is a Jet XC2 and it's 2.25 inches, the narrowest the company makes, and actually measures 56.4mm on these wheels. The 47mm gravel tyres measure 47.6, while the 57s are undersized at 54mm. All tyres are used on the same 25mm internal rim width wheels. And as you can see, the obvious benefit of the narrower gravel tyres is clearance. Way more clearance around there. Look at that, loads of space. And around the fork, much more space there. Way better for mud clearance. So yeah, much better fit. And this video is sponsored by Michelin. I've been running their Power gravel tyres for the last few months, using them as a control tyre on the gravel bikes I review here on the channel. And they are a great tyre, and I genuinely mean that. A fast rolling tread pattern, great on hard pack, on the pavement and on gravel too. Easy tubeless installation, available in different sizes, narrower and wider, tan sidewalls, black sidewalls, and a nice durable construction as well, so they've been really bomb-proof in my testing so far. I'll put a link to their website down below if you want to find out more and buy yourself a set of the Michelin tyres, which I highly recommend. Right, standing start, 3, 2, 1, go. The course I've laid out measures 5.9 kilometers, so short enough I can do repeated runs without inducing fatigue between tyre and wheel swaps. It starts with a nice smooth section of champagne gravel, with a steady climb to a nice long flat section to get the speed up to around 20 miles per hour. We then encounter the first technical challenge, a rough, rocky, boulder-strewn trail, and it's definitely a challenge for any tyre to deal with. This then transitioned to a smooth single track climb in the trees, with dirt and tree roots replacing rocks and boulders. The back half of the circuit is mostly road, with rolling climbs and a fast downhill to finish. All testing was done in the same morning on the same day, and tyre pressure was set by the Silka app. And that is a lap on the mountain bike tyres done. I've had to stop here because the gate is closed to keep the sheep in the field. So Mountain bike tyres done. Let's swap over to gravel tyres and do that run again. Okay, run 2 on the gravel tyres, a power gravel tyre measuring 57mm. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Right, test number 3 on the narrowest tyres. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, run 3 done. So back to the studio to crunch some numbers. Okay, back in the studio and I'll share the results of my testing. And it goes without saying, it's not the most scientific test in the world. I'm not in a wind tunnel, I'm not in a lab, it's the real world with all its pesky variables. I've tried to remove as many as possible. I'm using speed and power to ride as consistently as possible. I've aimed for the same average power of 180 watts, which gives me an average speed of around 25 kilometers per hour over the course. So not going absolutely flat out, but going at a reasonable speed, sort of normal riding pace for me. And we'll start with the mountain bike tyres, and they clocked a time of 14 minutes and 34 seconds at an average power of 181 watts. So 14 minutes and 34 seconds is a benchmark. I then swapped to the widest gravel tyre, the 57mm power gravel, and did the same test. And they clocked a time of 14 minutes and 23 seconds with an average power of 177 watts, so a bit less power required. And then to the skinny gravel tyres by comparison, the 47mm gravel tyres, and they clocked a time of 14 minutes and 24 seconds at an average power of 174 watts. So some really interesting data, not the most conclusive in the world, but shows that there's not much difference out there in the real world with the tyres. It might be different in the lab on a rolling drum, but in my real world testing, there's not much in it at all. But I'm not going to sit here and say one tyre is best. It's not that simple. It's not black and white. And diving into the data a bit more, and based on my months of testing these tyres, there are some more nuanced differences. And the tyre you choose depends on where you ride and how you ride and what you want from your bike setup. So for me, diving into the data, the gravel tyres are better on the road, which is no surprise really. The 47 and 57 definitely roll on the road better, and on the chunky stuff, the mountain bike tyre has a clear benefit. The confidence those mountain bike tyres give on a rocky downhill trail, just head and shoulders above both the 57 and the 47, and definitely close between the 57 and the mountain bike tyre, but the 47 is definitely way behind those bigger tyres on the technical section, and the mountain bike tyre is definitely better than the 57, even though they're almost the same width. It's partly down to the size. The bigger tyre volume helps, of course, but I think it's also the construction of the tyre and also the tread pattern as well. That mountain bike tyre has a much more aggressive tread pattern than the gravel tyre, and just seems to give more reassuring levels of grip and traction down that rocky trail when the bike's sliding around and really scrabbling for grip. I'm really surprised and impressed at how well the mountain bike tyres do handle the road though. They're not way slower than the gravel tyres. You can hear the extra drag, they make more noise than the gravel tyres. But riding at 20 miles per hour, say on the road, on a flat road, the drag doesn't feel that obvious. It's not like you're really pushing the bike through treacle. They roll really well. So I'm really surprised. You can ride the mountain bike tyres on the road and smooth dirt very happily indeed. But the more you push the speed on the road, the more of a handicap they definitely become compared to the 47s and even the 57s. But the mountain bike tyres and the 57mm tyres are heavier. They're both about 700 grams compared to 600 for the 47s. So if you care about weight, the 47s will save you 200 grams on your complete bike weight compared to the bigger tyres, and that could be a factor as well. So in summary, I am really impressed and surprised at how well the mountain bike tyres perform. They're not as slow and sluggish on the road as I thought they'd be, and they definitely a massive benefit on the rough, rocky trails compared to the gravel tyres, but they have two big downsides, at least on my Enve Mog. The first one is clearance or lack of clearance. The other downside to a mountain bike tyre is the bike handling is impacted in a negative way. Something I guess about the fork trail and the bigger outside diameter just impacts the steering. It's heavier, not as light and nimble as it is with a smaller tyre. It flops a bit from side to side off the central steering line. So that is a bit of a negative. I got used to it over the last few months, but it's not really a positive at all. So that's definitely worth bearing in mind if you are trying to stuff big mountain bike tyres into a gravel bike which hasn't been designed to accommodate them at all. There are bikes out there that will take the tyres and hopefully the handling won't be ruined. Well, not ruined, but definitely suboptimal, which my Enve Mog has proven to be. So going forward, which tyres am I leaving on the Mog? Well, I really am impressed with the mountain bike tyres. I am genuinely surprised at how well they perform, and they're not that slow and sluggish on the road. But as we head into autumn and winter, when mud here in the UK will be a factor, the limited clearance on those tyres will be an issue. I can't run them through winter at all, so they will have to come off. So I think for me, the 47's probably the sweet spot really. I still think a 45 to 50mm gravel tyre for most people riding road and smooth gravel and dirt is all you need. Yes, they're not as good down the rocky stuff, but you're not losing much time down the rocky stuff compared to the mountain bike tyres. And there's more clearance around the tyres for mud, and they're lighter, and they roll better on the road. But maybe the perfect tyre is somewhere between the mountain bike tyre and the 47. Maybe a narrower mountain bike tyre would be the preferred choice. But most mountain bike tyres are now 2.2, 2.4 inch wide, as mountain bikes have gone wider, and most narrow mountain bike tyres, like 2-inch mountain bike tyres, don't really exist anymore. So maybe there's an opportunity for some in between, not a mountain bike tyre, not a pure gravel tyre, some hybrid of the two. So yeah, really interesting. Let me know what you think by dropping a comment down below. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.